very much like, I like the metaphor of like flying over the freeway in a helicopter, right? You're up in the helicopter and looking down. All you see, if you're high enough up, you just see on the freeway, you just see a bunch of dots moving. You could think of it as little particles, like fluid motion particles. And you see a, traffic jam, you could again think about it in terms of fluid dynamics. That's because you're looking way up. If you got down closer, you see inside each car is a conscious person with conscious experiences and frustrations and so forth, and they're turning their own steering wheel. But you don't see that from the helicopter. And that's what physics has been doing. It's been looking at consciousness from a helicopter. And that's why it hasn't seen consciousness. When you're up there high enough, there's no reason to believe there's consciousness. It's just particles and fluid dynamics on the freeway and so forth. But that would then explain why, number one, physics has been so successful, because the fluid dynamical description is a legitimate level of description. But second, why they've missed consciousness is because they've only been looking at this asymptotic behavior, not the step-by-step. So that gives a mathematical framework in which we can explain why physicalism has been so successful, and also why it's failed to understand consciousness.
Well, I wonder also, though, there's one thing I want to say before I say this. Earlier, when you described, the sort of building up of conscious agents into the potential of some, sort of, I don't know, you didn't say universal conscious agent, but you used like a massive, like major conscious agent.
Right.
Well, it's sometimes, and when I heard you in the interview with Sam Harris, I thought this as well. It begins to sound like the mind of God. It starts to have it. I don't mean that in a either trivializing or a religious way or anything. I simply mean it in terms of imagination. That the mind of God, whether you consider God to be omniscient or omnipotent, or simply like universal consciousness or whatever, it starts to sound a little like that. I don't know if you were aware of that, unaware of that,
Right. Well, so I'm very interested in that. In fact, I think that there's a chance for a scientific spirituality.